Yo, we are live yet again. I don't know how, I don't know why, but we are still here yet again. I am super excited for the first ever, maybe last, but the first ever Celtics Midseason Awards show. I'm super excited to have y'all come along with me. People watching live, people watching after the fact on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. Of course, it's not just me or no one would watch. We have guests, we have our co-hosts alongside us. Let's get everyone on the screen. I don't know what button it is. There it is. Now y'all know the hardest working man in Celtics media to my right, left, I don't know. Jags to Riches in the building. Jags, how you feeling?
Bobby, I don't know. You got to stop starting these streams off with a lie. If you're the hardest worker, how can I be? But I'm feeling fantastic. Bobby, we have guests. Will you do the honors, sir?
I'll do the honors. A recurring actor. I know people are saying, Bobby, let her replace your seat. I said, you know what? Let's calm down first off. She's all right. I think I'm still the GOAT. But we have Bree, who can be the second place. Bree, how you doing today?
Hey, good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me again.
Of course, when people wanted you again, it's like I felt like I was forced at my hand, but she's phenomenal.
But however, this is awesome.
Appreciate it. We have someone to her left. I don't know, left or right. We have another first-time guest. Y'all might have seen him on YouTube, might have followed him on Twitter. Hoops, Empire Hoops, how you feeling?
Feeling good, man. I mean, it's a long time coming. We've been talking for a while, so just happy to finally be here.
100% happy to have you. Now, obviously, this is all nice and all, but eventually I'm going to roast y'all soon. So I don't want to get the hard feelings. You know what? I want to be nice. I want to be nice at the start, and afterwards, I can destroy you. Now we can start with a lot of things. I want to do a little recap on the season. Obviously, y'all know we're going to hand out some awards, fake awards, throughout the entire stream here. But I also want to play whole games, some trivia, some knowledge, see if these guys actually know their basketball knowledge, especially on the Celtics. We have some debates coming up. But let's start with just a whole recap, especially on that Pistons game, recap of the whole midseason before the All-Star break and what happened at the All-Star break. Let's go with Jags. Jags, your whole thoughts of the season. If you want to talk about the Pistons game, take it where you want to.
Woo, wow. Take it where I want to. 2 hours later. All right. Okay. Man, what do we say, guys? A little brief recap. Coming out the gates, they were slow. 5 out of the first 7 games, they lost. Right? Mm-hmm. Started turning it around, finding some identity, some bad losses. November 1st to the Bulls, Cavs. We'll talk about some, but at some point they get healthy. The year 2022, that calendar comes and just something switches where all of a sudden they start breaking off some wins. They turn a corner. And as Bobby's referring to, an incredible 9-game win streak. Now they did not quite reach 10 going into All-Star break with a 112-111 loss to the Detroit Pistons. However, first off, I mean, Detroit, let's give them some credit. They were hitting some absolutely flawless, incredible shots. Woo-wee. And we can get into that. But again, incredible run for the Celtics right now. One of the hottest, if not the hottest team in the NBA, and excited and intrigued about the second half.
Interesting. You put a word in my mouth. You said incredible win streak. I didn't know if I said that part. But Bree, go ahead. Talk about your feelings on the season as a whole. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like where he was going with that. But, old habits die hard. And they just had to lose to the Pistons like that and break all our hearts right before All-Star break. So we had a week to kind of sit with that and be very upset about that. It was wild because we were talking, we did our pregame show about the Sixers and we had I had no idea that they were going to blow them out like that and completely disrespect Joel Embiid on his home court. That was hilarious. True. But then it's like, how do you then turn around in 24 hours and then just blow it like that against a team that had 12 wins on the season? Like, come on, you got to stop doing that and embarrassing us like that. Wild.
It was rough. Celtics have used to embarrass me a lot oftentimes, and that's why I have this YouTube channel to share my embarrassment. Right. But Hoops, you also have a Celtics YouTube channel. Tell me about your thoughts on the season. What was your feelings of it, and also the All-Star break?
Yeah, I mean, about 7 games in with that loss to the Bulls, I mean, it was kind of just, it felt like a lost season, like at that point, like literally like 2 weeks into the season, especially with those comments that Marcus Smart made, and just blowing a 20-point lead to then lose by 20 is just, that's tough, especially to a team that's like supposed to be, you're hoping that you're better than after all the additions they made. And obviously, they, it was definitely a tumultuous, middle of the season. There was a lot of bad losses, some good wins, but especially, as of late, obviously they've won They had won 9 in a row. You know, they had won like 16 out of the last 20. I mean, pretty much like the best team in basketball since Christmas, you know, pretty much since New Year's. But I mean, you know, the turnaround was definitely something to behold. But I mean, a lot of people talk about they're not beating good teams. And I do think there was a couple good wins. But I mean, the thing about the Celtics is that they weren't beating bad teams up to a point. They were playing down to opponents. And in that win streak and over this winning period, they've been, you know, blowing the doors off these bad teams. Like, you know, they were like averaging like 30 points, you know, a margin of victory. I mean, it was impressive. I mean, you know, you beat who's in front of you, and that's what they were doing, obviously, up until the Detroit game. And, you know, there was a lot of, I think, overreactions to that game. I think it was pretty clear that they just, you know, they reverted back to a lot of old play style, but they were, you know, I think they already had their mind set on the All-Star break. You know, they figured, all right, this team's on an 8-game losing streak. We're on a 9-game winning streak. You know, this should be an easy win. We don't have to give it 100%. We can go into the All-Star break, but it just didn't work like that. You know, I think it kind of proves that, you know, no wins are given. You know, you got to show up every night because anyone can show up. So
sure, anyone can show up, but Sadiq Bey, what's his name? Kelly Olynyk.
Yes.
I swear I saw players I haven't seen since 2015 playing on that team. I was confused. Now, I'm not going to ramble on that Pistons. I gave my reaction to that. But I would like to talk about the All-Star game itself. Tatum played decently well. I don't know if y'all watched the game. The rest of the weekend was pretty boring, but the actual game itself was interesting. I think Tatum had like 8, maybe 10 points, a couple rebounds, a couple assists, played well, had a couple of easy dunks. But yet it seems weird to me they never put him in at the end of the game. I saw Trae Young even getting some run, but they wouldn't play him. I don't know what that's about. Maybe because they had some guys that already had the flow going, but he just does not get to play in that crunch time in the All-Star game. And I wish I got to see that. But speaking of All-Star stuff, there was another great ceremony. 75th anniversary was amazing. King James, the second GOAT, and LeBron James. There was Michael Jordan in the building. But then we also saw the original big three with KG, Paul Pierce. There's another guy that I just can't remember. Oh, we have Ray Allen. And for some reason, it seems like the pettiness was going me and Jags. Jags, you were getting flamed in the comment section a couple of days ago. People were destroying it. It was yesterday. People were destroying you about your comments on that team and that big three situation. But we saw a picture. We were demanded to react to this. So here we go. And this is brought to you by SeatGeek. Question of the day. Does Ray Allen get his number retired? Look at this. Ray Allen finally, in the first time in 9 years, finally gets a picture with the original big three. First, what's your thoughts on this picture? Jags, I'll go to you. And then also, could Ray Allen get his number retired by the Celtics?
First off, to clarify, guys, as Bobby says, everyone was roasting me. It was literally one person, and that person I was defending Bobby because it was his comments. Now, as far as Ray Allen himself, I mean, the picture, it kind of, just like we kind of spoke, Bobby, in yesterday's video, it's like at some point, let's just let it die and let's move forward. You know what I mean? These are 45-year-old multimillionaire retired Hall of Fame champions, guys. Just come on, man. Like, what are we doing at this point? I don't know how deep it is. You know, some wounds don't heal. Something might have gone. I don't know. But as far as Ray Allen, the player, he's a champion. He's a Hall of Famer. And is the question, does he deserve to get his jersey retired? I mean, if KG does, how can you say Ray doesn't? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at.
There it is. Hoops, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, you know, there's the argument that he, you know, didn't spend long enough with Boston. But I mean, if you win a championship here and you're a pretty pivotal piece in a team that made a few finals other than the ones that they won. And I think if KG was healthy in some of those, they probably would have had more than one. But I mean, like Jack said, I mean, if you're going to retire KG's number, you kind of have to retire Ray's number.
Bree, do you disagree or agree?
No, I agree, but I swear to God, the Celtics are going to run out of numbers for the uniforms. Like, we're about to go into the triple digits. I don't even know. We're about to start doing like symbols. Like, you're the pound symbol, you're the star symbol. Like, we don't have any more numbers. And that just shows how great we are. So I don't know. I'll allow it.
Maybe. And I like how y'all are adding these keywords in. But again, I study psychology. I can pick on the keyword play. We used to be really good. A lot of older players with these numbers. I don't know how many recent numbers are
further away.
Yeah, you know, it's been rough. It's been hella rough. But I think he does need his jersey retired. Again, you said it too. If KG gets his number retired, so does Ray Allen. I don't see much difference. I don't know the stats statistically, but I'm pretty sure Ray Allen averaged more points, more assists, and obviously I know KG's a big man. More points, more assists in pretty much all those seasons he was there. And then he went to Miami, did the right thing. Now I want to get into our first award. We have the Best Player Award. Now I believe you had this one. You posted this on Twitter. Every award we did, whether it was me or Hoops on Twitter, was fan voted. So I didn't decide these. If I did decide these to be a lot different. But here we are. Best player. I don't know if this is going to shock anyone, but it shocked me on how big the victory was. The winner of the best player so far on the Celtics season has been Jason Tatum. Tatum won the award. I believe it was 70% of the vote at the time that Jack saw it. To me, that's a landslide. I don't know the actual definition of it. Bree, your thoughts on him winning so far? There was a day that Jaylen Brown and Tatum were kind of butting heads about who was the best player on the team.
Well, time out. Can we also go over who were in the categories? Like, what were the picks between?
Yes.
I didn't get to see these awards, like the polls.
Hoops, you did this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was two obvious candidates here. So, I mean, I put Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and then I had like an other and, comment if, who you think would be the best player. But
those two people.
The other didn't really get any votes.
Yeah, I mean, I think those two picks are very obvious. I think it would be stupid if I said, obviously I love Rob Will and I'm always here for Robert Williams, but centers really never get love like that anyways. So yeah, I think the obvious pick makes sense that it would be Tatum. I feel like he's probably the most consistent up until this point, and he obviously got an all-star selection. So the general public sees that as he's the best player. So might as well give him, his flowers for that.
You said it again. Wait, you said general public. So it feels like you're kind of saying you would pick Robert so far this season.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is where it's my personal opinion. He's my best player. I think he's great. He's an upcoming player. I think Tatum and Brown are, I don't want to say played out, but like that they're just obvious choices. They're obvious choices.
People aren't thinking high enough. Jags, about you?
Yeah, I agree. First off, appreciate you, Hooks Jay. Right now, Tatum is at 86%. Jaylen's at 13%, number 2. I think you said it, Bobby. There was a point in the season early on where a lot of people, like it was, an alarming amount, were basically saying Jaylen Brown was the best player on this team.
Thanks.
I mean, when he came out in the beginning of the year, averaging nearly 27 and 6, came out opening night with 46, 9 and 6 against the Knicks. But that quickly faded away. Jaylen Brown ended up only playing 7 games in November, averaging 19 points. And then Tatum's greatness. I mean, it's just the fact that the man's still averaging nearly 26 plus points and is shooting one of the statistically worst seasons of his career. I mean, if this guy was shooting near his splits from last year or just normal, he'd be averaging 30. I mean, he's sensational. He's a 3-time straight All-Star, 2-time All-Star starter, and no Celtic has done that many times at his age. I mean, Tatum, what can I say? It's obvious.
Technical starter because of injury. I'm not going to rain on the parade. I got you. Hoops, your thoughts on this? Obviously, you hosted the poll. Did you expect a different result?
No, I didn't. I know a couple guys that, that really appreciate Jaylen Brown's game more than other people, but I mean, at a certain point, I think it's pretty clear, while Jaylen has been, you'd think Jaylen would be a lot more efficient, but when you really look at the numbers, I mean, he's been, hasn't been awesome shooting the ball, as of late. And I mean, that's like really tanked his averages to, close to where Tatum's been at. So it's, other than that, I think Tatum, has improved in a lot of other areas this season. And obviously it doesn't always show in the assists, but his rebounding has been awesome. I think, his passing, especially out of like double teams and, just like finding guys in the corners when he's on, the weak side. It's been pretty impressive stuff. I personally don't think there's anyone else to choose. I think Rob, like Bree was saying, I think he's probably played his role the best. Because Tatum has obviously struggled a bit as a shot creator. Jaylen Brown struggled a little bit off the ball, but Rob is just, he's pretty much perfect at everything he does. So.
Interesting. And I like how you talked about Tatum excelling this season. I actually have a little graphic here. We call it the breakdown here, comparing the 5th season of both Jason Tatum, which is obviously this season so far, and the late, great Kobe Bean Bryant. You look at the point total, close, not really. We had the rebound total. Tatum's a couple inches taller. Look at Kobe. They said Kobe couldn't pass 5 assists a game, around the steal numbers and the field goal efficiency. Obviously didn't show 3-point shooting because Kobe didn't shoot threes like that early 2000s. But it's great to see that Tatum trying to follow in his mentorship, and Kobe Bryant trying to be efficient, taking great shots, being more aggressive on offense, getting to the rim, and that's always I have always been critical about Tatum. I don't know if I've always been on that Jaylen Brown is better, but I thought Jaylen Brown could be better. So I always thought Jaylen Brown defensively being the more athletic player and also the more efficient player. But this season, it seems like that's flipped. I see Jaylen Brown is no longer as efficient as he once was, which is just weird. I don't know what happened, whether it's COVID, even though Tatum battled the same thing last year. Don't know what happened, but Brown has just not been as efficient as he once was. And I don't know if y'all want to answer that. Why happened to Jaylen Brown? I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, you want to go, Bree?
No, I was just going to say another comment about Tatum. I'm liking his defensive effort too. Like we've been seeing him swat the ball a bit. I like him being just a force on the defensive end. If he can get a couple blocks a game, well, obviously that's a lot, but you know what I mean? Like if he can average a block a game or something of that manner, he'll just be unstoppable if he's, efficient on both ends of the court consistently. So that's another thing that I've been noticing more is that when he's on, and you see that on the defensive end as well.
Facts. Hoops, about you?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, his improvements have definitely been quite evident. And, on the Jaylen Brown, what you're saying about, Jaylen Brown, like, why isn't he as efficient? I mean, I posted something a little while ago on Twitter that was like the NBA is shooting its lowest 3-point percentage since LeBron's rookie year, which is like, I mean,
across
that's nuts. So it's been kind of a league-wide sort of thing. Like the league is struggling shooting. You have Steph Curry, obviously, like 38% is still above average, especially for his volume, but it's by far the lowest number of his career in terms of 3-point percentage. And, guys like Beal and guys like, a ton of other guys like Tatum, obviously.
Dame, all of them.
Dame, yeah. I mean, they're struggling pretty bad.
You think that was the new rule they put into play this season, or you just think it's just by coincidence, maybe?
I mean, I think it's a couple. It could be that, it could be that, physicality is allowed a bit more. You can't foul bait. So there's a lot of, attempts where guys are trying to foul bait that aren't getting called. And obviously they're just going to be a brick. And I mean, a lot of people talked about the new ball. I don't know if that really has anything to do with it, but I mean, the rule changes probably have something to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to just give an answer to that question because it's a layered question for sure.
Right.
No, I feel that. Now, next up, as we talk about the best player in Tatum and what he can do and for this team, we also have to talk about the worst player on the team. Now, again, if I would have done this voting process, I would have picked someone and probably people in the chat know who I was going to pick. The main man, Aaron Nesmith. Now, he did not win this award, and actually he didn't come close to winning this award. However, the player who wins the Celtics worst player on the team so far this season is the tall, we call him the oldie version of Gordon Hayward. Look at Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett wins the award. I don't remember what the percentage was. Jack, you have that number for him?
I'm looking for it. No, I don't.
45% it says here.
45% won the award. I believe Broderick Thomas was in there. Aaron Nesmith was in there, and there was another other category as well.
So what I wrote down, when we had Hernan Gomez, he would have won that award for me because I hate him and he was trash and terrible.
That's what I said.
We traded him, I believe, probably before you made this poll. Again, I wish I was aware. I would have voted. I did not know of these polls, but I agree with you, Be Smooth. My person that is the worst player is Nesmith for sure.
Interesting. So it's funny you say Hernan Gomez. I will never forget this. I'm never going to put this as a nice thing. Literally, I made a video the day we signed him, just roasting this man's life. And people were crying in the comments, oh, Bob, you got to be nice to these players. He's going to be phenomenal. He's going to start for us. Man, never played a game. Homie rolled the bench more than I did. It is ridiculous. But anyway, Aaron Nesmith, for me, we drafted him to be a shooter. He can't shoot. I don't know what else to say about being a guy being bad. I'm sorry. So Luke Cornett gets it, even though he just got re-signed by the team a week ago. So I'm cool with the voting. I'd rather see Aaron Nesmith get this award. Jags, I mean, what was your thoughts on this whole process here?
You remember, Bobby, me and you, when we talked about it, I was like, oh, mine's Wancho. And then you kind of corrected me. Current players, Jags. And I was like, oh, damn. So I agree. Cornett, Nesmith. I'm not trying to shit on the little man right now.
Hoops, do you have any disagreements here?
I mean, I would also say Nesmith has definitely been our worst player this year. I mean, it's, I think it's pretty unanimous, but I mean, I just don't think it's fair. Like you said, like Broderick Thomas was also in the running. Like, I don't think he's been like awful in like the 12 minutes he's got this season.
Right.
And same thing with Cornett. I mean, in terms of like rotation players.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's got to be neat.
Facts. And that's what I think people didn't understand about that award. And also, we're going to get to another one right after this. Then we have a couple other games to play. But people probably didn't understand the meaning of it. Now, Cornette is probably sure the worst skill player of the group. However, he has barely played. Same with Thomas. I thought to be clear, Neesmith, slander. However, this is the one that really confused me. But before we start this next award, Hoops, you posted something. I sent it to you, and he got it in 30 seconds. I said, all right, damn, that hurts. He posted on Twitter, and someone guessed it in less than a minute. Damn, that hurts. Even Bree knew what the answers were very, very shortly. So again, that hurts my pride because last week I got Jags and Bree stumped. However, we are here for another weekly edition of the Blind Reveal. Now, if y'all saw this on Hoops Twitter, y'all probably know the answer. If not, see if y'all can guess down below in the comment section. We have, almost 50 people in the building. Appreciate that. We have a guy on the left, 7.5 points per game, 44% from three. SC Player of the Year. I think that's a two-time SC Player of the Year. We have basically 12 points a game, 36% from three, and he was the 9th overall pick a long, long time ago. I didn't know if anyone knew the answer to this, and honestly, it hurt my soul. And I think someone was like, "Oh, I know the cutout of him." I was like, "Damn, bro, you're talented to know that." Jags, I don't know if you saw this picture, but do you know who these people are?
Yeah, guys, I'm kind of with Bree. I'm not the best with Twitter, so a lot of these polls I kind of got caught up with today. This I didn't see, but yeah, Bobby, I'm 100% on this one.
Go ahead.
Grant's on the left, and you're right. He's a two-time SEC Player of the Year, one-time All-American. 44% from three. Lord have mercy. You want someone else to answer the right?
These two down below already knew it. You guys are high-level NBA knowledge here. Jags, I'm trying to see your knowledge here.
Yeah, that's not fair either, guys. I'm a little older as well, remember? So we're talking 9th pick overall. These are both current or former Celtics or at some point Celtics, right? Because you stumped us last time, but he was having us DeAndre Jordan. Come on.
Technically.
Shout out to Kemba Walker on the right, 9th overall pick in the 2011 draft. I mean, people forget that's the Kyrie Irving, the Kawhi Leonard, the Klay Thompson, the Valanciunas, the Vucevic, the Isaiah Thomas draft. So, Cardiac Kemba, man, I remember watching him at UConn like it was yesterday, win a national championship.
Yeah, a little older than me. I don't remember those days. However, Kemba Walker was the guy on the right, and I was trying to show off. You know what? Grant has been better than what a lot of people thought he could end up being. Damn sure me. So I thought for the next award, most improved player, we had a landslide. But however, that didn't go the way I thought it was. The winner of the most improved player award was Robert Williams. Now, Jags, I don't know if you have the percentages for me.
55 for Rob, 45 for Grant. 2-horse race.
This, I know there's going to be a disagreement in the chat. And a lot of people either didn't understand what I meant or don't know what most improved player means.
It's the best
If you're
question.
going from here to here, that's not most improved. If you're going, Grant Williams is literally on the floor to a decent player, that's most improved. So, yeah. Bree, where's your take on this?
I have Grant's for most improved player for sure. I think that Rob started low to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Rob has been a steady incline. Like, I think that Grant had a drastic change. Right. And that's, he started off being called Ofer, for God's sakes. And also Ben Simmons. So it's like now Grant is someone that we can count on to hit that three. And he's just overall a great player, great on the defensive end. You know, he fills that void and that role when Al and Rob are on the bench when they want him to be, you know, the 5 or whatever. So I really, really am impressed with the improvement by Grant all around. And he should have won that award, in my opinion.
I'm going to get to Bree really quick because, again, I just love the wordplay she uses. She's a great player. Now, Hoops, really quick, what did you think on this? Did you go Williams in your poll?
Yeah, I had Grant all the way. I mean, personally, Robert Williams, the one thing I will really give him credit for is that I think he's been a lot less foul prone this year. You know, he's playing like twice the minutes, almost twice the minutes, and he's pretty much the same in like fouls per game. He's been a lot better at staying on his feet, you know, time and blocks better. So that I'll give him credit for, but largely, you know, on like a per minute basis, he's kind of just doing what he was doing last season, just staying healthier, playing more minutes.
Right.
So, but Grant Williams, I mean, like Bree was saying, you know, people didn't want him on the team anymore last year. And now he's pretty much just become like a slightly worse version of like PJ Tucker. I mean, he's I mean, he's shooting like 52% from the corner, which is exactly what you need. Like when you have Jason Tatum driving the paint and kicking out, like that's exactly who you want. A guy who can shoot over 50% from the corners.
Right. Like we're not holding our breath anymore when he has the ball to shoot. Like we actually have confidence in him now. And that's such a good feeling to have.
Like a Grant moment before was like, you know, like a stupid play. And now it's like a good thing. You know, like when Grant makes a Grant play, that's a good thing.
Definitely.
Now, this happiness of Grant Williams, I think we got a little too far. I don't know about this. So first, Bree says he's a great player, great defender. Hoop says we like the Grant moments. What are we talking about here? If Grant Williams has the ball, I'm still scared. I'm sorry. When we have Tatum and Brown and Smart on the floor, I'd rather them have the ball instead of Grant Williams. I'll never forget a moment I saw Grant was dribbling and he had a step back three. That's the day I knew this man had too much confidence. I'm sorry. That's not what I want to see from Grant Williams. I'm happy for him in the corner. You called him the Walmart, the lesser version of PJ Tucker. I'm cool with that. But let's make sure we all know our roles here. I don't know about a great defender. I think Grant is okay. He's strong, so he can guard bigger guys. But I don't think you want him guarding your best player. If Tatum's in foul trouble, you want him guarding, I don't know, think of a guy in the East, Tobias Harris over Jaylen Brown. I don't know about that. Bree, what about you?
I don't know. I feel like sometimes he gets the Tice whistle. Like there's a lot of fouls called on Grant that like I feel are questionable. But you got to work with what we have on our roster, right? And so if I'm looking at our roster right now, he would be the go-to person after Al and Rob. So like there's nobody else that, I mean, now that we have Tice, actually.
Okay. There we go.
Tice might be a little bit ahead of him just because of the history he has and the size that he has on our team. But I really do. I think that Grant has become someone that we can rely on. I'm not really afraid when he's on the court anymore. I think he's, earned his right to have, significant minutes in the rotation. I really do.
We're going to have to agree to disagree there. But I love the beautiful transition that she used. We talk about the roster. Now I have a special, not really a game, but I have my Bobby's tier list of Celtics players, ranking them from basically 13 to number 1. We also signed 2 players today. We're going to talk about those guys a little later, but they're no names, so it doesn't really matter. Here we go. The tier list. Oh, no, wrong one. Here it is. Bobby's Celtics. Be Smooth Celtics tiers. Now down below we have Waste Management. Y'all know the company. They pick up trash. These guys should be next to the mailbox every morning. Aaron Neesmith, Broderick Thomas, and Luke Cornett at the bottom. Next up, the Yellow Pages tier. Bobby, what are Yellow Pages? Exactly. Jax tell you better than I could. They're an old book that tells you numbers on where to call pizza places. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser. It's nice when you need them, but you really don't need them. You want to kill a bug? Sure, use the Yellow Pages. But that's pretty much whenever you're going to need a Yellow Pages. Next up, we have Broken Clock. There's an old saying. A broken clock is right twice a day. These guys are right every once in a while. Daniel Tice, Al Horford, Grant Williams. They're okay players. They're not anyone that's going to break or make your season, but they're guys that are decent at what they can do. However, the guys above them, keys to success tier, Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, Derek White, these are guys that actually can impact your team on a day-to-day basis. Guys like Robert Williams, great defenders. Marcus Smart, actually great defender. So is Derek White. All these guys, if White and Smart can hit their threes and Williams can continue to stay out of foul trouble, you have phenomenal tiers. And next up, the crown jewels, the cream of the crop, the 2 best players on our team, whether they're 1-2 or 2-1, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, atop of the tiers. Now, I don't think anyone has problems with these tiers, right? We can put them back on the screen later. Does anyone have problems with where I rank these players? That y'all feeling anything wrong here? Jax, we can go with you.
Yeah, I would say maybe with exception to Neesmith. I don't know if I'd quite put him in waste management yet. He might be in the Yellow Pages still with the rest of them. I'm not sure about the broken clock with those 3 gentlemen. I think they're more right than just twice a day in the entirety of a 24 hours. But no, Bobby, I'm in reality. Yeah, you're spot on pretty much with the tier list.
There we go. Bree, what about you? I didn't know if you were disagreeing with any of these. What were you going with this?
No, I mean, like I said in the last time that we spoke, I kind of want to put Rob in that crown jewel section. I really do, because I want to build a team around those 3 guys. I think he has the potential. Yeah, I'm being a little too optimistic, a little too overdramatic with that, but I think you're also a little harsh with some of your categories. So
broken clock for
Al Horford. For Al Horford. He's 35. Anyways, yeah, I think that those categories are pretty good for the most part. I think I'm going to bring this up again. Peyton Pritchard also just missing the mark, right? Like we thought that him and Aaron Nesmith were going to be better than what they were. So that's kind of, disappointing that he's landing on the yellow pages section of that. It's just, I wish he, could do better, but he's I think that's currently where he should be in that standing.
Hoops, any disagreements, man?
No, I mean, I agree with Bree and Jags here. I mean, I'm not sure that I love like the descriptions of said tiers, but in terms of like the actual rankings, like I think that's I think that's spot on. I mean, I think that's what Bree was saying. I think Rob is like almost in a category of his own ahead of Smart and White, but not exactly on Tatum and Brown. Like I think if you got like a really, really good deal, like if you're bringing in, I know we're probably gonna talk about him later, but a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, I would have the biggest problem sending Rob out in a thing like that. But I mean, in terms of the Jays, I mean, you're not really going to find a deal that makes you much better for either of them. So, I mean, I would put Rob maybe in his own tier in between Smart and White and Tatum and Brown. But other than that, I agree.
I like that. Maybe like a rising star category or something. Like he has that potential and we're seeing that. It's just like we've said before, he has been injured so many times and he hasn't played enough consistently for us to be like super sold on him, or for some people not to be super sold on him. So I understand that. Yeah. But I really, like, from when we got him, I saw the potential there, and I think he's, living up to it, and he has some ways to go, but it's not like he is like falling. He's slowly climbing up there, being that rising star. So that's my opinion.
We asked this question last week, or where we see Rob Williams finishing somewhere in the Eastern Conference in centers. People were saying in top 5. I don't know what they're smoking on, but it's not something good. They are telling me this Rob Williams is top 5 right now in centers in the Eastern Conference. He could one day be top 5. I don't know where this skill set's coming in. I get the potential. Potential doesn't give you much right here, right now. I think for me with Rob Williams, he's a really good defender. He's an average rebounder, if anything. He's a guy that offensively is not going to give you much other than dunks from alley-oops. So we got to stop acting as if this man is maybe the next Anthony Davis to develop a mid-range game, post-game, three-point game, a playmaking. That's things that Rob Williams I don't see having. So I'm stark, and you use the word star. I don't know about this. I trade Robert Williams to get anyone else that's a star player. I'd take Robert Williams, Smart, first-round picks, put them all in a bag, send them to Minnesota to get Karl Anthony Towns. I'd probably do it to get Bradley Beal. You can give me more names and I would do that. I don't know if Rob Williams is that guy to say, you know what? I'm going to stop here. You're going too far, Robert Williams. I don't know if he's that type of player. That's just my opinion. I don't know what y'all agree or disagree with that.
I'm actually, Hoops, I'm kind of curious on your take on Rob, especially because the three of us got into the Rob as a top 5 center in the East. Can you shine some light? Where do you see him overall?
I mean, honestly, I'd have to see a list of East centers, but I mean, I think he's probably just outside the top 5. I mean, you have Embiid, Bam, Vucevic, I guess.
Jared Allen
for sure.
Capella was an interesting comparison.
Capella.
Valanciunas. No, he's in the West, excuse me.
Well,
yeah, I mean, he's probably around 7 or 8. I mean, you can make a good argument for Rob about, the impact he brings compared to a lot of guys. But I mean, in terms of just like, a known commodity, I don't think he's exactly earned his place there yet. But I love Rob. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen my Twitter a lot, but I mean, I've posted a few threads on Robert Williams.
It's quite impressive, by the way. Oof.
Thank you. But
incredible work.
He's just a super impactful player. I mean, I think that it doesn't always show up in the stat sheet, but I mean,
yes.
Bobby was saying he's not an excellent defensive rebounder. That's for sure. I think he could be better at boxing out, and he's just relying on a lot of athleticism right now.
100%.
But I mean, in terms of offensive rebounding, which a lot of them are putbacks, but I mean, he's near like the top of the league. I think he might be at the top of the league in offensive rebounds. So, I mean, in that aspect, he's awesome of creating more possessions, second chance points, stuff like that. So, I love Rob. But yeah, like Bobby said, I mean, I'd trade him for a better player. I think that his ceiling is, you touched on his playmaking. I think it's better than a lot of people think it is. You know, the Celtics, they run through him a lot, you know, at the top of the key, just to, you know, make some plays. He has good vision, but I mean, in terms of like actually running sets, I don't think he's there yet in terms of like a, you know, like a real playmaking, you know, consistently playmaking big. But other than that, I mean, for a guy who you can rely on to just make a play for you here and there, like not consistently, but, you know, every once in a while, I mean, I think he's pretty good at that. And obviously his interior scoring is awesome, but doesn't have a back to the basket, doesn't really have a, you know, a mid-range jumper or anything like that. So, you know, he's a little one-dimensional offensively, but, you know, good player.
Bree, what's up?
No, I agree. I just think that, you know, lately what we've been seeing from him is he actually has been averaging a double-double. His rebounds have been getting up there, but like you said, it's probably more offensive rebounds than defensively. I think that he just needs to get the ball a little more. Like those lobs to Rob are literally just chef's kiss, unstoppable, like beauty. And I feel like we don't utilize that enough in a game. I feel like he could be averaging a little bit more points per game if they utilize that play option more. So it also could be, you know, opportunity. Like he's just now like being like the legit starter, you know, like if he could have started a whole season, not gotten hurt, been healthy the whole time, I'm sure the numbers would be a lot better. But we have like a small sample size to really judge him off of because of all the issues and what have you that he's faced throughout the years that we've had him. So
someone used a decent example, and I think they meant the wrong Lopez brother, but I think they mean Brook Lopez, a guy that was a great inside scorer, turned into be a pretty damn good three-point shooter. Brook Lopez, even as a rookie, was just a far better offensive player than Rob Williams. So that comparison doesn't really work. And if you do mean Robin Lopez, if you want to be compared to Robin Lopez, that's a bad comparison. That's an awful one. That's one name you don't want to be associated with, especially offensively. But I think you made a good point. Is Rob our third best player on our team? Is it not no longer Marcus Smart? Is that case now closed?
Ooh.
Well, we already talked about how we think that how I think that Marcus Smart is trying to transition into a point guard, the true point guard, and work on, you know, pass first, you know, utilizing assists more than him trying to just get off threes. You know what I'm saying? Like if he can, you know, have that be his main focus and have that be, you know, his contribution to the court, obviously along with his stellar defense, then yes, he could be over Rob in the top 3 category. But that all depends on what his mindset is and if that's the role he's willing to take on this team.
Interesting. Hoops.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Smart, as of right now, might still be our third best player, but I think, I mean, it's tough. I think Rob might be the third most impactful player, but in terms of like a guy you can like trust more often, I would say probably Marcus Smart, which, you know, trust in Marcus Smart sounds, you know, kind of crazy just because he's, you know, he makes some bad plays here and there, but outside of that, I mean, the playmaking that he's giving you this season, a lot better than past seasons. Obviously his shooting is not good, but he's taking a lot less shots. I think he's taking sub 10 shots, which hasn't been true the last couple of years. And, you know, there was that stat that like the Celtics had like some crazy win percentage when Marcus Smart has more assists than shots. And, you know, I think that's happening a lot more often this season. You know, whether that's translating to wins as much as, you know, to be determined, but I think Marcus is just a more rounded player than Rob at this point. But it's getting close.
Interesting. And Jags, I think we talked about this last week. That might have been the episode with Bree. We talked about this where Marcus Smart came back and the Celtics won 9 straight. Now we thought, was that coincidence or because that's how impactful he was? Hoops saying it's his impact. Jags, is that impactful? I think you were agreeing with basically what Hoops were saying.
Yes, sir, Bobby. So yeah, 10 out of 11. The question, I think it's a little disrespectful to not say it's Marcus Smart. I think they're both spot on. It's Rob's gaining quickly. Let's be clear. I mean, and the fact that Smart's several years older, the fact that this is Rob's first opportunity as a starter, look what he's doing. But no, let's not. I mean, again, both of them are playing the best ball of the season recently. Right now, Smart in the month of February averaging 14, 4, and 5. You got Rob Williams averaging over 11, 2 assists, 3 blocks, nearly 2 steals. It's insane what both of them have been doing. And to answer your question, Bobby, no, not a coincidence. I do think that Marcus Smart coming back, is it a coincidence that as soon as Smart and Rob go out, we lose a game to Detroit? This team and their health of their core is so important. But when they're healthy, I mean, I think they can compete with anyone.
Now, and I want to go because I know we're stuck on this Robert Williams topic because there's just so many things. I know Hoops, that's his favorite player, damn near. But I know Hoops, you put out a tweet a couple of days, maybe a couple weeks ago about Robert Williams potentially being an all-defensive player, maybe even being a conversation of DPOY. I don't know about that. Gobert is just so much probably more impactful than he is. I don't know if Robert Williams could ever beat Gobert because obviously Gobert's like 7-1, but could he ever be a solid DeAndre Jordan? That's what I've always see if I can compare him to. Marcus Smart, I don't know if a guard will ever win Defensive Player of the Year anytime soon. I just don't think that's a thing that happens recently. I don't even know the last one that won Defensive Player of the Year as a guard. So it'd be tough for Smart and Williams hurt. And also they always get hurt so often. I even know Smart's injury history now that he got hurt against the Sixers. When does he come back? So what is your take on maybe both of them making maybe second team or maybe even making all defensive first team?
I mean, I think they both deserve a spot. I think you could even make I've made an argument for Tatum as well because the Celtics, their defense has just been insane this season. But I think Rob and Smart are definitely the most two deserving to get all NBA. Also the last guard to win Defensive Player of the Year was Gary Payton, like 25, 26 years ago, something like that. So, if a guard was going to win Defensive Player of the Year, it'd probably be Smart, but it won't be. But I think they both deserve an all defensive spot for sure. I mean, the two most impactful defenders on, largely the best defensive team in the NBA. I think they deserve a spot for sure.
And it's interesting how we can go here. And again, we're going to get back to some of the awards, but I know it's a good conversation that we're talking about because Bree last week said, I wanted Ime fired early in the season. And we were trying to figure out what was Ime's passion, what was he going for? Because he was playing 9 guys and those 9 guys were sucking. And it didn't make any damn sense. But now I don't know what the statistic was. I think we are top 4 in defense. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on the map somewhere. Number 2. Interesting. Yeah. Number 2 in defense. I don't know if I would say Tatum's a great defender. I think he's
catching
good one. I think
Golden State quickly.
I think Tatum is a solid defender. He's athletic. He's tall. So I think it makes him look better. I don't know if you want Tatum guarding Kevin Durant and say, oh, yeah, he's going to lock down KD or he's even going to put KD and make him struggle. That's not a thing. I don't believe Captain Tatum is that good.
No one can do that, though.
Like Kawhi Leonard guarded him very, very well.
People also say PJ Tucker did a great job on him, and KD was still dropping 40 a game. And he was. But
he did great. He got him very tired, though. Got him very tired, wore him out, and guess what? At the end, he's airballing shots in overtime and was 0 for 5. So you can see PJ Tucker's impact on the game. And again, I would love to see Grant Williams turn into that eventually. But Bree, right now, as you see the team defensively, offensively, I know we're not that great. I think we're middle of the road. But where do you see in your feelings on Ime 1 week later, and also defensively and offensively, how our team lies?
It's tough because I don't know if we can give it all the credit to Ime. I think that Smart returning to the lineup was a huge factor. I think that you have him as the vet on the team. You have him as, the heart and soul, as people want to say, on the team. I feel like, maybe they had some closed door meetings that we don't know about. Something had to have changed. I'm not quite sure if Ime all of a sudden 30 weeks and however many weeks into this season we're in now has been like, okay, and now we're going to do this. Like, I don't think all the credit is to him. I really don't. I think they finally got into a rhythm because, like I said, they were all injured or dealt with COVID or this, that, and the other thing for pretty much that whole first half of the season. They had 10, 11 games straight where they were all healthy and there was nobody on the injury report. Like, I do a list every day, every game day, I have our injury report. And to not have to write a Celtics name under the Celtics injury report for 4 days in a row, whatever it was, I was like, wow, that's crazy. I wish I could have done this the whole season. So I think that was more the key to them being successful, not so much Ime and his game plan, in my opinion.
Very, very interesting. Now, let's go and let's get back to some of your funny award shows here. Now, we have worst play of the season. Now it's a weird little transition, but I know people were voting on this. I believe I had this one. We had a couple of funny games here, and this is worst play, but also kind of worst moment. We've had moments where guys were getting their ankles broken. Marcus Smart getting crossed by LaMelo. I thought Grant Williams was going to lose. Grant Williams getting dunked by literally the entire NBA. Joel Embiid, Marvin Bagley, Keldon Johnson. There's probably more I'm forgetting about, but he didn't win either. The play or the moment that won the worst thing for the Celtics was the Celtics shooting 4 of 42. Yeah, you heard that right. 4 of 42 from 3 in a loss against the Clippers that literally had Eric Bledsoe in company. Yes, very, very ashamed here. I don't know if y'all had a worse moment in the season. What was your lowest point for the Celtics? Jags, I guess you can go here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll actually, I can agree with that Clippers one, just to give some context to it, because that was literally, it was either the 27th of December, because the 27th and the 29th were both significant because it was back-to-back games where it was the Minnesota G Leaguers followed up by the 4 for 42, 9% from 3. If there's not a lower point than those two back-to-back, no Cat, no D'Lo, no Anthony Edwards, you've got Greg Monroe almost had a triple-double on us, and he hasn't. That
was his first game back.
Since 2016.
That's how it always goes. Former Celtics just tool on us when they come and face us. It's just literally just like death, taxes, and former Celtics players having career nights against us. Couldn't tell you why.
This isn't worst loss, guys, by the way, Bobby, to clarify, right? This is worst moment.
This was worst moment or play in the game or season, yes. Hoops, did you have another worst moment in the year? Does anything else come to mind? Or I know that we were 0 for 26 against the Wizards early in the season to start a game. It was something rough like that.
Yeah, I mean, the 4 for 42 is most definitely up there. I would say probably the most heartbreaking moment that coincides with worst moment is that RJ Barrett buzzer beater.
Yeah.
That was tough because I'm pretty sure we were up by 25 in that game.
Yep.
Just for RJ. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the JJ Redick podcast a little, with Jason Tatum, but Tatum was talking about how, he hit that game winner on RJ and, RJ got him back. So that hurt. That hurt pretty bad. I would say that's probably my worst moment of the season.
Let's get into some best moments of the season. I know we had a couple good ones. Most of these were individual plays. For example, one was Jaylen Brown's transition dunk against the Hornets. And I think that was our first one of the season. It was a little transition dunk over Miles Bridges. We had another moment, Tatum dunking on Russell Westbrook. But the one that pretty much won, I think on a landslide almost. Jack, you tell me the actual votes on that. It was Jaylen Brown over Mo Bamba. Huge dunk. I think we have the little, there it is, picture. It's just an absolute poster. Maybe an offensive foul. Magic fans can cry more later. But an absolute hammer on Mo Bamba. It was disgusting. I don't know if y'all have a favorite play of the season. I think for me, man, there's some good ones. I think that Peyton Pritchard moment, I think was cool. The little step back threes against Portland. I think that was a cool moment. The whole, our teammates, Ennis Freedom, Peyton Pritchard, not Peyton Pritchard, what's his name? Dennis Schroeder, all going crazy on the bench, getting a little CPR too. That was a cool little moment in play I saw. And if y'all had any cool best plays or moments of the season.
54% Mo Bamba.
54? Okay, it wasn't that close. Okay.
I mean, I'm biased. Anytime Lord dunk, I'm all about that life.
Yeah, you can make like a 10-minute compilation of that.
He almost killed him with that. Like, oof.
Robert Williams. I mean, the love for Robert Williams, I don't understand. I don't get it. We might have to have a whole little
one day. You'll see.
And again, also, I know people are asking questions. I have completely forgot about the chat. I have not forgot about you that much. We're going to get to some of the chat questions very, very soon. Appreciate everyone in the building. Make sure you get the like button as well. We have another cool award next. Best win and worst loss so far on this NBA season. Now, we started worst last time. Let's go best. I don't actually have what was the winner here. I can't even see it here. But we had a best win. Jack,
Sixers. Yeah, so we had the Sixers at 84%. So it's a big win for the Sixers.
So this was recently. This might have been 2 weeks ago. I believe this is our pregame show, actually. Last week with Bree. And then this was the win we won by how many? Was it 48?
49?
49 point win.
Almost 50.
Yeah,
almost 50.
48. They had 50, they were winning by 50 at one point, and then they scored 2. So I think we ended with 48 over them. I think this is definitely the best win.
Yeah.
And if I had to pick like a second best, I kind of liked the Nuggets win that we had. Just holding Joker, like not letting him go off and not letting him bully us. I think that was also a really good and significant win. So those are my two.
I like that one. I think we also had an option of the Miami Heat win early in the season. We held them to like 77 points
Chicago
in a game.
Bulls.
They couldn't score. Chicago Bulls, another good one.
114, 112. One. That was the Rob Williams game-winning free throws one, guys. Where's the Rob Williams love on that?
This man has been name dropped like 50 times.
I know.
I mean, phenomenal. But I think a cool thing about the Sixers game is, of course, when one team's hitting a bunch of shots and one team can't make a three, obviously it's going to be a winner. A 50-point game is ridiculous. I just don't want that game because I know people in the comments are like, oh, we're going to dominate them in the playoffs. I don't know about that now. It's not going to be very often you shoot 50% from three, and the team shoots, 13%. That's not going to happen very often. So I don't know. Hoops, did you have a better win, or the Sixer win is probably best win to you too?
I mean, I think there's a little recency bias in play with that. But I mean, one win that I feel like really nobody's talked about since it happened was, we had no JT and we beat the Suns. I think they didn't have Ayton. I think like that was their only player missing. I'm pretty sure Chris Paul and D Book played. And I mean, we won, and I'm pretty sure we won pretty handily. I mean,
123, 108.
Yeah, with no JT to win like that, that was like their 7th or 8th loss, like 4 months into the season. Like it was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Okay, and of course, recency bias always hurts, but it's funny because this next award, the worst loss so far this season, had nothing to do with recency bias. This was just an ass whipping. This was a game where the Celtics. I think I was actually live on YouTube, doing our watch parties that might return soon. Maybe someone here on the panel will join me in the watch party. However, in this watch party, I was crying tears. We had Celine Dion playing in the background because that's how much heartfelt pain I had here. We were up 18 in the third quarter, up 18, and somehow, some way, we blew the game away. Worst loss of the season. Chicago Bulls at home. They were down 18. I believe they won by double digits. I'm pretty sure that was the case. Jags, you have the stats.
I do, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have the Bulls at 53% behind Detroit, the most recent loss at 24%, and then you have the Clippers 4 for 42 at 15%.
Yeah, that Bulls game, and I don't know why the Celtics did this. It's funny because I feel like it got passed off to the Knicks. I saw this comment somewhere. RJ Barrett banking in that game winner kind of stole the Celtics, ability to blow late game leads, because now the Knicks doing it all the time. Knicks are blowing 30-point games, 25-point leads like there's no one's business. But the Celtics all season, we did it to the Cavs, I think twice, did it to the Clippers. There's probably a bunch of teams I can't even name right now that we just blew big leads. We haven't done it recently. What is that idea do you guys think that happens, why a team blows a big lead, especially why this team can't close a game out, save their lives? And anyone can take it.
They fall asleep. Something happens at halftime and they have like the worst third quarters of their lives a lot of the times. And then if they come out strong in the third quarter, they just drop the ball in the fourth. I think that they take their opponents too lightly. They take their foot off the gas, and then their opponents just take over, and then they dig themselves a hole too deep and they can't come back from it. Time runs out. They don't have the time to come back.
Is that on the player or the coach? Player as in best player?
I think it's on the players, because why are you getting complacent? They're not, if it was me, I would strive to get 30, 40 a night. If I'm Jason and Jaylen, I want them to get like minimum 60 combined a night. That's what they should be striving for. Obviously that's not likely, but that should be their main goal is they should both be dominating and averaging 25 to 30 a night, in my opinion. If you're that good, if you're as good as you think you are.
I feel that. Hoops, what about you, man? What's going on?
I mean, I think with things like that, like I was touching on earlier, I think it's largely just getting complacent with these big leads and, thinking that they're going to stick, even though, I mean, basketball is a game of runs. Like a game can, you could be up by 20 and be losing by 10 at the end of the quarter. I mean, that's just the NBA. It's a make or miss league. And if you're missing shots and the other team is making shots, that lead is going to disappear really quick. Yeah. But I mean, I think it shows some of the youth of this team, which I don't think it should be that way, because I think if you're young, you should be striving to, if you have the energy, like go out there and
Close it
and
out,
play
yeah.
your hardest for 48 minutes. And I mean,
That's
that's
facts.
that's kind of just, your job as an NBA player. And I mean, these guys might be gassed to a certain point, because I know Tatum's at like the top of the league in minutes, like right behind, the 3 Raptors players or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think he just has to be better. I mean, I had a tweet a couple days ago, that, over the last 3 years, Tatum has been like one of the most clutch guys in the league. But this year he's like 4 for 17 in the final minute of the game, of a close game. So that's just, you just can't do that.
And
was an example of that.
exactly. So I want to get into this because that's actually a funny transition of why Tatum. I know the whole narrative. I think that was a tweet I saw where it was like, well, Tatum's actually more efficient than you think he is. He's one of the clutchest player in the leagues. I don't like the advanced analytics. I've never been in that department of thinking. I just watch what I see. I don't know if I can sit here and say Tatum's a clutch player. At least not yet. Yeah, sure. Does he bank in game winners against the Bucks? Yeah, sure. Has he hit some shots against RJ Barrett? Sure. Am I going to say he's a clutch player in the NBA? I don't know if I go that far. Obviously, the shot against the Pistons, that looked like a good shot. Sure, did he over dribble? Of course. I think it was a good look.
No, you should have drove to the hoop and drew a foul. You were down by 1. Why are you doing a mid-range step back, like mid-range shot? For what reason? That made no sense. None.
I think that's just habit.
Space and take a step back mid-range floater type shot when you had like 9 seconds on the clock where you could have drove to the hoop. Down 1, try and draw a foul at least if you can't bank in a layup. That was not a good shot selection at all.
It's funny. I don't know if y'all watch Skip Bayless. I love Skip Bayless. I love all the enemies on media. But Skip Bayless has this narrative against LeBron is LeBron shies away from the late game free throw shooting. He won't drive because he don't want to get fouled, shoot free throws. I don't know if Tatum might fall into that Skip Bayless category. But boy, does my man Tatum rely on that step back jumper.
Like doesn't want
it's weird. I don't know. But y'all remember this. I remember watching this game in the bubble against Miami, game 1. In the regulation, we have a tie ball game. Tatum has the ball in hand, 15 seconds left. He chews the clock out to do a step back 3 against Bam. Didn't want to drive, didn't try to get a free throw. Nothing. It seems like as if he wants to just stay back there. So you know what? Hey, we'll see if it goes in or not. Remember the whole amazing moment against Giannis. It's a step back 3 against Giannis that got banked in, and we're lucky to even win that game. I don't know, but there's not a lot of moments of Tatum driving to the hole and having success. I don't know. Jags, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, it's a little PTSD off of that Bam block and the
Oh, that is okay.
I mean, Lord have mercy. Would you want to actually do that after Bam did that to you on a game-winning block? But no, to clarify, did we answer the question on what is the worst loss? Because that's where we're at right now, right?
We did get the worst loss was the Bulls loss.
That was it? Okay. I got you. Can I talk on if I agree with that or no?
Of course.
It was loss because you can't really use the argument that we didn't have Smart and Rob because we didn't have Smart and Rob against the Sixers blowout either. So it really was just the fact that they went back to their old habits. They broke a 9-game win streak to a shitty Detroit Pistons team at home right before the All-Star break. It's like they hung it up. They waved the white flag and they were like, you know what, we're in Cabo or somewhere else.
So you think it's Detroit is the worst loss so far?
In my opinion, or any loss against the Spurs because we got losses by the Spurs. Popovich just disrespected Ime.
Those were bad.
So either one of those 3 losses in my mind were worse. I mean, again, we had too many losses where we were up by double digits and then we lost. That happened like 8 or 9 times or something. So like you can't really pick out which one of those was the worst because they all sucked. If we're talking about games that like we should have won clearly out of the jump was against a like 13-win team Spurs or a 12-win team Pistons. Those 2 games are disgusting to me and I don't accept it. Don't care if you're not going back to back. Don't care if you don't have Smart or Rob. Clearly that didn't matter when you went to Philly and beat them by 48. So something, that's just a mindset. They just weren't mentally at that game.
It sounds like
there is several too. Go ahead.
About those little big blowout or big blown leads, right? Yep. But it's funny because the question I asked before was, who is that to blame about comebacks and allowing the team to come back? And you kind of said mentality. To me, that sounds like the coach. That sounds like the coach's job to not allow how many blown leads? At least 8 or 9, easily on the entire season. Imagine if we would have held on to maybe 6 of those. where we are in the standings. Are we the second seed in the East, third seed in the East? If we just held on to 20-point leads, I don't know. For me, it's on the coach, the coaching staff. At the same time, damn, if you have a good player in Tatum, people tell me Tatum's a superstar. You got a superstar blows 20-point leads every single other week. I don't know. It's rough. Or Bree, go ahead.
No, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. It's like, I think if you can't place the blame just on one entity, like it could be on the coach, it could also be on the players. Like we talked about this before. I had issues with Ime because he wasn't subbing right. He wasn't calling timeouts right. He wasn't doing certain things right. So that goes hand in hand with if your players aren't being the all-star caliber that they are. Like if Tatum just all of a sudden you put him on a milk cart because he disappears in the second half, like he started off hot, then he scored 3 points in the second half. It's like you can't place blame on just one person. It's a team sport. It's a team game. And obviously your coach is the one orchestrating all the plays. So it's like, it's everything. I can't just be one person, in my opinion.
Hoops, you agreeing with that or?
Yeah. I mean, Jason Tatum is my favorite player. Like I can admit to that. And, I can be a little biased in that sense, but at a certain point, I really do believe that you're only as good as your best player to an extent. So if your best player isn't playing well, then there's nothing you can do. I mean, he just has to be better. I mean, there's people making excuses for him. Like, I'll make some excuses for Jason Tatum sometimes, but people just take it like too far. Like when he shoots those bad shots, people are like, oh, it was a good look. I'm like, it wasn't really a good look, but I mean, he can make that shot, no doubt, but
100%.
That doesn't mean it's a good shot. So, I mean, Tatum can be better. He has to be better. I think he's been better as of late, except for obviously the Detroit game where I don't think anyone was good in that game. But, I do think Ime deserves some of the blame. But I mean, I think Brad, I don't know if Brad was talking to Ime about it, but I mean, shortening that lineup to 8 or 9 players, obviously that helped because you're no longer playing guys who probably shouldn't be playing. But other than that, I mean, if you're going to give Ime those defensive players, like we're probably the deepest like team with the best defenders in the league. I mean, like pretty much 1 through 8 on our team are all like solid defenders. So, I mean, obviously there's teams that have better defenders at the top, but I just don't think Ime deserves a ton of the blame. But like Bree was saying, his subs weren't awesome. I think his after timeout plays were good, but I don't think the times that he was calling timeouts were good or when he should have been calling timeouts. Obviously I'm still not a huge fan of the double big lineup. I think that,
really?
You got to replace, I think Derek White should be in there or even a guy like, Grant Williams and have Al Horford off the bench, something like that. But I mean, to an extent, you're really only as good as your best players. And if your best players aren't going to be playing like they should be, you're not going to win games.
That's interesting you say that. So I've always been iffy on the double big. I know in the East, you kind of want to have that with the Sixers and the Bucks and who run huge monster lineups. Best players are also bigs. But against some other random teams like the Pistons who are running Marvin Bagley and Kelly Olynyk and guys literally with no names, it's confusing to have, a lineup where I know my guy, Rob Williams didn't play, but seeing Tyson Horford on the floor at the same time doesn't make much sense. I don't understand that. Why not go smaller, try to run the floor a little bit, move the ball? That's one thing I don't understand that Ime does. It confuses the hell out of me. That part I don't understand. But we are going to get to some questions in the chat. I know I have disregarded y'all most of the damn stream. However, we have kind of breaking news. Now we're going to get to this. It's about an hour old. Can I share my screen? Hold on. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. We have some interesting news that Shams broke a little while ago. Here it is. The Celtics. There it is. Celtics have signed Malik, Fitz, and Keelan Morton to 10-day contracts, according to The Athletic. Fitz spent time with the Jazz this season. Morton played 27 games with the Pacers. Now, I don't know about y'all. Who the hell are these guys? So my whole thing is why not go out and sign players that could, I don't know, give you something? What are these guys going to do other than keep the benches warm? I don't understand this. Bree, your whole take on adding literal, no disrespect to these guys, but no names.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the Celtics thing sometimes. Like they just add some random people.
Yeah.
I did look those two guys up briefly before we jumped on this, and one guy is 6'8" and one guy is 6'5". So maybe he's trying to add a little bit more size for bench help because obviously Al Horford and Tice are kind of old, kind of have knee problems, kind of have had health issues. So I'm not quite sure. I know that they're listed as forwards, but that's some size. So they both look young. Both of them have been in the league for either 3 or 2 years. So maybe fresh legs, younger legs. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, they both are averaging like 5 points. So like I'm not quite sure what they're really going to be of use for. Maybe we're going to bring them to the main Red Claws. I have no idea. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure what we're doing there. I also did want to touch on the fact that a lot of people were trying to say that we should have gotten Gordon Dragic, and the Nets just picked him up, of course. So it's like maybe we can discuss who would be a good option in a buyout, because obviously these 10 days, I don't think anything's going to come of that. I think they're just random people we're picking up for 10 days and just to say we picked someone up. Like, I don't see any.
I love that question. And I think the thing about me, I think I saw it, maybe it was Woj or one of those, reporters that post things on Twitter was saying that today is one of the last days, maybe today or in 2 days, the last day to actually sign a player to play in the playoffs for you. It's something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the comment section, but it's something along those lines. So you have to kind of sign a player today, which is why I thought we were going to sign key players. Instead, we signed G Leaguers. So that part didn't make any sense to me. There are a couple of players I would love to see. There was a guy that was cut just yesterday. I'm trying to remember his name really quick. I can find him. I know Javon Carter just got signed to the Bucks. That's a phenomenal signing. I would have loved him. Great defensive guy who was on the Suns last year, that NBA Finals team. But there's a couple of good players I would like. Guys that just can shoot the damn basketball. That's my thing. I know we're okay down low. We don't have great low post scores, but Rob and Horford can play some defense. But, man, we have no type of shooting. I'm sorry. Guys that just want to shoot. I know Grant Williams is nice and all, but if Grant Williams is going to be our best shooter, I think we're in trouble. I don't know in the playoffs we can trust Grant Williams to knock down clutch threes for us. Like, look at it. Brooklyn Nets, they literally lost the series because Joe Harris can hit a shot, and that's Joe freaking Harris. We're going to rely on Grant Williams to hit clutch shots for us in the clutch. I don't know. That's not what I want to look forward to. Hoops, your thoughts on players we could add, and also, just overall here with the two players.
Yeah, so to kind of shed some light on what you were saying earlier. So you can only have like less than 14 players on standard contracts for, I believe, like a 2-week period. But I think that got shortened a little bit because tomorrow is the cutoff to have players for the playoffs, I believe. So the Celtics, what I'm not really understanding about these 10-day signings is that a 10-day signing isn't a standard contract. So they have to sign 2 players for the rest of the season by tomorrow, I believe. So it doesn't really make sense to me why they're signing guys who aren't going to play on 10-day contracts. But, I could be wrong on that, but, I don't think a 10-day is a standard contract. So
are you saying they're required to pick up 2 people? Like they have to fill those roster spots?
Yeah, you have to have 14 players, I believe, before you go into the playoffs and the cutoff. So they have to sign. They're probably just going to end up, sourcing from, within just 2 more guys, like whoever it might be, whatever 2-way players. I think Broderick Thomas, maybe something like that. But other than that, I mean, a guy that I would have liked that hasn't really been floated around on the buyout market was Gary Harris. Obviously, he's an awesome shooter, great scorer. I mean, he'd probably be your, I don't know, like 7th man. That'd probably be one of the better 7th men in the NBA.
Defense.
So, I mean, that's who I would really like to get. But, other than that, I got to look more into the buyout market because I kind of had my eyes set on him. And now he doesn't really look like he's going to get bought out. Dragic was obviously another guy. But, I don't think Boston's like the first choice for a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys are title chasing to just, be real. And Boston isn't exactly the place to do that right now.
So shout out to one guy, Brandon Maxwell. Again, I forget. I can pin comments. Says March 1st is the deadline to sign players for the playoffs, but someone else said in the comments that tomorrow is a deadline for something. So not positive what that is. Maybe that's for 14 player, and then March 1st is your guys, real actual legit contracts. Not 100% with the legal stuff, but here's what we are now. I think another key option, I know people don't mess with him, would Eric Bledsoe not be interesting to have on the team? I don't know. Just another guy to see. I know we have a lot of guards, but I'm not mad at Peyton Pritchard playing less and putting Eric Bledsoe in there, putting Eric Bledsoe in the 8th man, 7th man on a team. I would enjoy it. I know he's not the greatest shooter in the world, but a guy that can get to the hole, score at will. Jags, your thoughts on the buyout market and the two randos here?
Yeah, I think you got 2 more players to add to your waste management tier column, Bobby. Put it like that. Hoops was spot on with Gary Harris to the point where I've already got Gary Harris on my 2K team.
Oh, wow.
I was also wanting what's our guy's name from the Nets? DeAndre, but he signed somewhere, right? Bembry? Where did he sign? The Bucks?
Bembry.
I believe the Bucks, yeah.
So there you go. Like you said, title chasing. I liked him a lot too. I don't know, man. I'd have to look into it a little bit more. Bobby, to answer yours, Eric Bledsoe, bring them on. Any of those guys, with that type of experience, if you're talking about putting them into the 8 or 9 spot, absolutely. Why not? You know what I mean? I would take them over some of these other guys. So,
yeah, like a name we actually know over people we just had to Google. Yeah, I'm down for that as well.
I'm always cool with the name recognition. I'm always a fan of that. Y'all ask some questions. I know there's a lot of questions. I have to scroll up a little bit. I'm sorry about that. But go ahead and ask some questions that you have now. Appreciate all the time. We had our awards. We had our funny moments. Now, Malik Fitz, can't remember the other boy's name, but I might make a video about that tomorrow. Maybe find their highlights. If they have any highlights, I'll react to them tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. Someone said there's a reason why the Bucks didn't want Drew Bledsoe. I know the funny joke, but Eric Bledsoe, they didn't want him. I wouldn't say they didn't want him. Drew Holiday was just better, and they ended up winning a title. So I think it ended up working out for both sides there. So I think someone said it here. Here we go. Pretty sure the Celtics have to have 14 guys on the roster by tomorrow. I think we had 13, unless Sam Hauser still counts. I think he got signed an actual contract. So I guess we have 15 now.
Luke and Sam got
13 before. I thought Sam.
They
converted signed too, didn't he?
Sam and Luke, I'm pretty sure too.
Luke Cornett.
Luke and Sam are officially on the roster, but I thought we had 1 or 2 more spots available or something like that.
We had 2,
5,
right?
We had 5, and then we signed 2.
And we signed 2, so yeah.
3, right?
Interesting.
Is that simple math?
The math confuses me. I'm not a good mathematician here, but I know math is all my guy Hoops here. Someone asked a question. Where is he at? New Sound asks, where will we place? Of course, we're going to get to a little bit of predictions here soon, but I did put up a poll in the building. The poll asked, will the Celtics finish with 50 wins this season? Yes or no? 66% said yes. I think there's another topic that I think Hoops was talking about somewhere, that if the Celtics, I guess I'll let you explain your tweet there because the math is just too much for me, but go ahead.
Yeah, all right. So we got 22 games left. So we would have to go 16-6 to be a 50-win team, which I mean at this rate is attainable, but I was looking into it and they have the 10th hardest remaining schedule.
Strength of schedule.
Yeah, for the remainder of the season. We got some tough games. I think we got 1 against Golden State, 2 against Memphis. Like we're playing the Suns again, but they don't have CP3, so
the Nets a few times.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got some good teams coming up. But, I mean, with the way they're playing before the Pistons game, I'm hoping that carries over. I mean, I think they can do it. If not, I mean, anywhere from, I think, like 48 to 50 wins is sort of realistic at this point, honestly. Sorry, I got a train coming by.
All good. All good. Yo, I think realistic. I don't know if 50 wins is realistic. I know a lot of people are saying they could. 67% said they could. I just think that's a lot. Now, again, if you got to 50 wins in a season where people like me and Bree were saying to fire a man within 2 weeks, to get 50 wins is pretty insane, and especially with all the injuries, through COVID still happening. That is really damn impressive in your first year because Brad Stevens was maybe a 29-30 win. Again, the team is way different, but Brad Stevens won maybe 30 games in his first year. Bree, your thoughts on where we could finish? How many wins could we get? And I guess seeding as well, because I know the East is really, packed.
For the seat, like I feel like wouldn't it be more important where they land in the seedings, in the standings, not so much how many wins they end up with? Because honestly, if I'm looking at the East and I'm looking at the standings right now, it's very close. So I think I said this last time we spoke, they might fall in the 4, 5, 6 spot, like to go into playoffs. That's what we want. I mean, this is a team where at a couple weeks ago they were in 11th, so in the standings. So yeah, like they're sitting 6th right now. If they could stay there or even move up a few, that'd be great. I'm fine with that. Winning 16, like you said, out of the next 22 games might be very challenging. And even though their competition that's coming up might not be super, super tough, obviously, as we just saw, they can't even beat a team that has 12 wins on the season because they play down and they beat themselves. So, you know, in my opinion, sometimes I want them to face teams like the Lakers and the Bucks and the Warriors and the Suns, because they rise to that challenge and they rise to that occasion and they play their asses off when that matters. Because it kind of seems like Tatum and Brown want to prove themselves to the other stars that they're facing. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. Obviously, I want to stay optimistic, but obviously I'd feel a lot more optimistic if they didn't fall into that old pattern and that bad habit, and they would have had 10 wins. If they stayed on that and they had a 10-game win streak right now, I would be a lot more confident to say, yeah, hell yeah, 50 wins, no problem. That's just me.
Yeah, that Eastern Conference logjam, we are basically a running. We could still get the first seed, which is just insane. We're only 4.5 behind them.
Not, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
But what my guy Hoops was saying, 10th hardest schedule for the Celtics. We blow the easiest games in the world, so I agree with that. Jags, realistically, what's more obvious to happen? 45 wins or 50 wins?
45, definitely. 50 is a stretch. You're talking about 16. I'm glancing at the schedule right now, Bobby, and I mean there are some strong teams. It's not like a gauntlet like how we talked about in December. So there is a chance, but I would put my money more so somewhere in between 45 and 50. I would predict at best 4th seed, more realistically 5th to 6th. I think we avoid the play-in, and I think it'll get interesting because a lot of these games late, you're talking about the Bucks, the Bulls, the Heat. We got to see where they're at seeding wise. Are they still competing for the number 1 overall seed, the 2nd seed, or are they locked into their seeding and they're just putting in their bench guys and we're getting easy win? So it just kind of depends. But yeah, I'd say maybe 5th seed, 4th at best, 6th at worst.
You know, we're actually in a scary spot. And actually, not just we, a lot of teams in the East are in a scary spot because the Nets right now are the 8th seed in the East. You don't want to play the Nets in the play-in. I'm sorry. You don't want to play the Nets, period. If Miami Heat, who's number 1 right now, say the Nets go and they win the play-in spot, I don't think the Heat are excited to play the Nets in the first round. That is probably an L when KD's healthy, Kyrie playing half the games, and you still bring in Ben Simmons, who's saying he wants to come back in a week or so. Yeah, that's a bad team to play. So for us right now, we're perfect. If there's one team you want to play against, don't respect the Cavaliers and Darius Garland. Oh, I will. I'm licking my fingers at this one. At number 4, Cavaliers. I'm sorry. We probably beat that team in 5. The other teams in the East, Raptors aren't that good. But other teams in the East, Sixers at 3, Bulls at 2, Heat at 1. Obviously, Nets right now are 8. Those are teams I don't want to play. So it kind of fears me to see that long jam, because if we do start slipping and we have to be in a play-in spot, imagine playing the Nets in the play-in. I mean, that's just – and then you have to play the Hawks or the Hornets or the Raptors also in the play-in. That's a rough position to put yourself as a team. I think – and again, we have more questions. Again, I have just disregarded the entire comment. So you know what? I have just been off my game today. Bobby, pull up the Pistons win this year. Who were they against? What doesn't freaking matter? They had 13 wins. If you have 13 wins, you ain't good.
His point is that the more than half of their wins are above teams that are in contention. They have a win over the Heat. They have a win over the defending champ Bucks on a night that all the Bucks were healthy. So we hear you, Jonathan. It's a good point.
So what is he
Still
saying?
doesn't matter, though. They should have beat them.
It's an off night.
I see what
they think it's an off night. Okay.
No, still no.
They go to Little Caesar Arena and they get too much pizza and they have an off night. I feel you. Okay, I got you. Shout out to Jonathan there. We have other questions as well. Shout out to Big MG. I'm always in the building here. What playoff matchup against a top team in the East would you feel most confident against? Okay, we just talked about excluding excuse me. Honestly, this is a question for y'all because I got no damn clue. We're gonna lose regardless. Sixers, Heat, Bulls. Bree, where are you going with this?
I feel like we're out of all of those teams, I feel like we can hold our own against the Sixers and the Bucks. Like if you're looking at past history, I feel like they in a 7-game series they might be able to stick it out. I mean, but that's wishful thinking. But
it's wishful. It's wishful wishing on a star too. I don't know about that one. Sixers maybe. Bucks, hell no. I think we lose in 5. Hoops. What about you? Any team you would like to play other than Cavs or Raptors? If there's
so personally, and I know that we obviously had that bad loss in the beginning of the season, but I think we match up pretty well with the Bulls. In terms of, I don't think they have enough defenders to stop Tatum and Brown. Like, I don't think anybody on their team is really going to be checking Tatum or checking Brown. DeMar has never really been known for his defense. Now is Levine.
That's true.
And I think the Celtics have a lot of good, versatile defenders to guard. They're a very, the Bulls defense is better than people give it for. But in a series, when you have two very talented offensive players that are also very talented defensively with a lot of defensive help around them, I think the Bulls are, out of that Sixers, Bucks, Bulls, category, I think the Bulls are the team you want to see. And if you can get like Cavs first round and then Bulls second round, I honestly think you could be looking at an East Finals. But obviously a lot would have to happen for that to happen.
Wow, look at Hoops out here with definitely in the the full way of thinking, because that's interesting. I feel what you're saying. I think someone else said it as well. The Bulls don't have a lot of playoff experience, which other than DeMar, I guess that's kind of true. Even though Caruso won a championship, who he's not going to be playing. I don't know if when he comes back as well. But Levine, I know Ayo's now they're running their point with Kobe White, Vucevic. I feel it. I can feel it. I don't know if you just want to. I don't know if you want to try your luck against that team. There's a lot of teams that pull out. They've been obviously playing well the entire season. Jags, is there any team that catches your eye other than the Bulls?
No, I was going to probably ride with the Bulls as well. Just because it is about, experience together, because the other ones you're talking about, Miami, they've gone on a finals run with the majority of that team, even though we've owned them twice. One of the two times was early in the year when they were healthy. The second time they didn't have their guys. So we are 2-0 on them. But yeah, I would probably say the Bulls. The Sixers, even, we pretty much own them, but still that's scary with Harden and Embiid. I'd rather see them in the second round opposed to the first. So, but I'll be honest, Bobby, I mean, none of these teams up at the top really intimidate me. I'd rather see them than see the Nets in the first round, to be honest.
Oh,
that's crazy, because I feel like I don't know what the Nets are going to look like, because you have Ben 10 Simmons, who hasn't played a single game, can't shoot a three. You think he's really going to get along with half a man, half a season, Kyrie Irving?
No, and Kevin Durant, though.
Yeah, but isn't he hurt right now?
Doesn't matter. He's the greatest player in the world, and he's going to probably come back, they say, within the next week or so. So you would have him back
soon. Okay. Well, I thought he was going to be out for – I know that there were a lot of different people saying that they were going to be out for weeks and stuff like that. So I didn't know how long KD was going to be sidelined for, but even still, I don't know. It's all about team chemistry at the end of the day. You can't just win with one player being dominant and the rest of your team sucking. So I don't know. I get what you're saying. Like, on paper, they seem like a threat, but I need to see them play together first to really make an opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the scariest thing about the Nets to me isn't just like the star power they have, because obviously, if they're playing a team with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons is going to be a really good team. But I think getting Steph Curry in that deal was a big deal. Huge. I mean, that's a real difference maker to have probably, one of the top 5 shooters in the NBA currently. I mean, he's just, he's unreal, and having that next to guys with so much gravity like Kyrie and KD with a point guard like Ben Simmons. I mean, it's, I mean, Ben Simmons really, he doesn't even have to attempt a shot with that team as of right now.
He's not going to.
So I like Bree said this last time, and I was going to get on her, but then I got off the topic, but you brought it up again. The hate for Kyrie Irving hurts my soul. Kyrie Irving is literally one of the top 15 players in the world, probably top 5 in skill, 6'2", 6'3", and can literally do it all. We're not going to get on that, but I see Big GM, people giving you credit. The Celtics fans hate Kyrie Irving too. I'm a Celtics fan, but man, this man was hella good. The Nets will have chemistry issues? Probably not. Ben Simmons, again, doesn't have to take a shot, and he's still effective. He's an all-world defender.
That's his dream job. He doesn't want to take a shot.
Their number 3 is an all NBA level, all defensive level career 16, 8, and 8. And that's their number 3. And that's not even what?
He's
2
6'10".
champions at the top, Seth Curry at the bottom. Like, yeah.
So then it's a wrap, so they win. So let's not even bother. Is that what you're saying?
No, my point, what I actually said was I would rather see one of those other teams in the first round opposed to the Nets for clarification.
Yeah, that's for sure.
My whole thing is last year we saw the Nets take on the Bucks, and we're literally KD being an inch shorter of a foot of making the Eastern Conference Finals where they sweep the Hawks and probably go ahead and beat the Suns too. So that's my thing. And that was when Harden with one leg and Kyrie not even playing. So even with Kyrie, as you called him, what'd you call him? Half man, half season. That was funny as hell.
I believe that was Stephen A. Smith, but I just reworded it for this.
Whatever it was, even with Kyrie playing, I don't know, say 3 games of a Game 7 series, I would still take the Nets over anybody. That's my pick. If there's betting odds, I think the Nets are still favored to win the whole Eastern Conference, and they're the 8th seed. So that just shows how scary they are as well. Curry replaces Harris as a go-to shooter. And obviously, Joe Harris is about to get another surgery as well, so it's tough. Bruno Gomes asks, is it possible for Celtics to win a championship this year? Maybe a G League one, Summer League. I think that's cool. Yeah, that's going to be possible. And if y'all think that could happen?
No.
Probably not.
I wish, but they're still missing a piece or two to compete with super teams like the Nets and the Sixers.
Oh, so you give them credit that way. Okay, so super team. Okay, interesting. Jags, what about you? You think they're a piece or two away?
Piece or two, the right piece or two, possibly. But to win a championship this year, no, sir. They're probably at least a year away and the right moves away before we can even,
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I agree as well. I mean, if you get Tatum Brown playing at like a crazy high level, and the role players doing what they should be doing, like I was saying earlier, if you get those right matchups, I think you could, get to another East Finals. I don't think you'd be favored versus whoever you're playing.
Right.
I think East Finals is probably the ceiling of this team, depending on the matchups they get. But other than that,
like if everything goes right.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. Again, I just read the time. My fault. I did not realize it was almost an hour and 30 minutes. That's my apologies. I did not mean to hold these guys that long, but I did see a really cool comment. If you guys have a couple more minutes.
We didn't even touch on the All-Star break.
We didn't even touch on All-Star. Look at me. I'm a terrible host. I need to get fired.
We can talk all day. I don't care.
Johnny asked, the Celtics are favored right now out the East, and I saw this ESPN or maybe SportsCenter, one of the other two. I think they're the same company. I'm stupid. Anyway, one of them did a poll. It was like Celtics are like the 4th favorite to win the championship, which are the only Eastern Conference that high. Like, I'm sorry, y'all smoking something, bro. That's crazy. There's just so many other teams that are just more talented. It's not being a hater or a Celtics lover. If you don't think the Sixers, Nets, or just flat out and Bucks are just better than us, I'm sorry. I don't know that's what we're watching here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just I think that's just trying to get some clicks because that's that combined with some recency bias, obviously, because the Celtics, I mean, they have been largely like the best team over the last month or two. Like, I'm not gonna short them on that, but there's been more than a month or two on the season, so that's just way too premature. There's probably at least four teams in the East who should probably be favored to get there over the Celtics. Minus, that's not even including whoever, is coming out of the West. There's probably 3 or 4 teams in the West that should be favored as well. So, I mean, if the Celtics were like 10th in championship odds, that'd be all right. But I mean, other than that, they should not be top 4, top 5. That's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because I know I'm not a huge betting man. I don't even know if it's legal to bet here in Georgia. However, if I see the Nets odds, I'm probably going to put $100 on them because I'm making a lot of money here. It's going to be a bad day for Las Vegas or Atlanta here. Let's see here. We're going to get to some of the All-Star stuff. I had one cool more question. There it is. My guy Landon Lake's always in the building here. Can we play a game to put a green guy on Bobby's wall? Someone actually commented that. A lot of people comment that every single day about putting a Celtics guy on this wall. I've always said this. If y'all can find me a really, really cool picture of Larry Bird or Bill Russell, I will put him on my wall. Someone actually tweeted me a really cool picture of Larry Bird. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't know what's in my DMs right now because people spam me. But that is a really, really cool thing I'll put on. I'm going to copy it on Amazon. I'll buy it, and you'll see a Larry Bird, maybe a Bill Russell little, what's his name? Muhammad Ali picture in the background. Finally, about damn time. Now, let's talk about the All-Star weekend. There was interesting stuff going on. I want to take time talking about maybe not the Friday events with the celebrity game. I could give a damn about that. But Saturday night, did y'all watch it? Did y'all enjoy it? Jags, your whole take on three-point contest, dunk contest, and what the hell went happen to my dunk contest too?
Yeah, one of the worst dunk contests.
Worst.
Yeah. I mean, what happened to the days of the Levines and the Gordons, or I mean, the back in the days of the Vince? I mean, that was a bad one. But Karl Anthony Towns, the first ever center, winning a 3-pointer, that balances it out. Something historic. What was it, 163 to 160, something like that? The All-Star game. LeBron James hitting a game winner in Cleveland. I mean, that's pretty special. You know, the 75th anniversary, all those players, Michael Jordan. There were some incredible moments. You know, with the exception to the dunk contest, it was pretty cool.
It was basically like the All-Star game was the actual dunk contest. Like they ball out.
Ja Morant,
obviously. And then all of a sudden I see Giannis and other people starting to play defense when it was getting close. So I was like, oh, this is now interesting. But obviously Steph Curry, legendary, 16 threes. Man was balling out of his mind. It's unreal. He's just not human. I loved the Karl Anthony Towns thing. I also loved that he's just such a humble guy. Like, I love everything about him. He said he had to even say he didn't have to say, but he took the time out to say thank you, to allow him to wear his mother's chain, because apparently they're not allowed to wear jewelry during the contests. So he got a special permission to wear his mom's name on his chest when he won that for her. And it's just, it was all feel good moment, feel good vibes. But yeah, Steph Curry balling. He deserved the MVP for sure. The game was great. The dunk contest was garbage.
Hoops, I don't know if you watched the dunk contest. How do you fix it? What can you do? This 15 attempts to take one dunk is just stupid, man.
Yeah, I think that at a certain point, I don't know how much fixing it needs, other than the fact that, you know, those the attempts that aren't really attempts. I think there needs to be and have guys just like jumping up and pulling the ball back down because they don't like that attempt. Like, you got to max that out at something. But other than that, I mean, I don't really, a lot of people say that, you know, you need like star power in those dunk contests. And I don't really think that that's true. I think that, you know, Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, they weren't like big name stars in the NBA when they were in that dunk contest. And that was like all timer, you know, so that, you know, you just have to have guys that are ready to compete and put a limit on those attempts that aren't attempts. But I mean, other than that, I mean, obviously it'd be fun to see a guy like Ja Morant or Jaylen Brown or something like that in the dunk contest. But I don't really think you need that star power. I think you just need guys that are, you know, really committed to it, that have some, you know, personality, like Juan Toscano Anderson, like, you know, good player, nice guy, but he's, you know, I mean, there was nothing going on there, like just straight face after every dunk, you know, walking back, sitting back down, waiting for his next turn. You know, there's, you know, you got to have some charisma in the dunk contest.
I think definitely 2 attempts max. I don't care if you hold the ball or not. 2 attempts, you push it going. But it's crazy because how the dunk contest started in the 80s. It used to be stars did it. Dominique, Michael, the stars did it. Then it became young players that were drafted high started doing it. The John Walls, the Giannis's, and Victor Oladipo's, Paul George, and these guys made their names by doing it. But now all of a sudden, you're getting guys like Toscano Anderson doing the damn dunk. That's not – and shout out to John Collins with the little Superman Tuskegee Airman thing he did a couple years ago, just garbage. The guys that they're adding don't have that name, so the crowd can't get behind them. To be fair, shout out to Cleveland, that crowd was awful. The crowd didn't even give them a chance to try to get into the dunks they were doing. I mean, it was a whole dry the entire Saturday night. Obviously, they were awesome Sunday, but just super dry. So I think you do need stars. No one's saying you got to get LeBron to do it. But damn, some of the younger guys, like, can you get Ja Morant? I know he doesn't want to do it, but I believe they don't want to do it because they feel ashamed to fail. That's my thing. I don't think they want to lose or maybe say, damn, it's actually harder than it looks to dunk in 2 attempts. So I don't know.
They need to get people that actually know how to dunk. That's the first thing. Like, you know how to dunk? Cool. That should be the criteria to get in. I saw a tweet. I was dying laughing. Someone tweeted, damn, now Giannis has to delete 48 minutes worth of the dunk footage on his phone because he was sitting there on the sideline like this the whole time. And I'm like, this poor man.
He was into it, though.
There is nothing to record here.
He was under. I think the crowd wasn't into it. The crowd was dry. And the commentators, shout out to Reggie and Kenny, all those guys, they were bringing so much negative energy to it. You couldn't even get behind what they were trying to do. And again, 9 attempts, Shaq making ugly faces, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar walking to the bathroom in the middle of it is obviously rough to see, but you need stars. You need Zion, if ever healthy, Ja, and some of those guys. But I think someone had a cool point. Why not have 4 NBA players against 4 pro dunkers? Like legit, the Jordan, he starts with a K, I can't remember, but his highlights all over YouTube. Those guys that go to LA Fitness and just dunk for TikTok, get those guys. Do a little prize pool, $50,000, who wins? You don't think guys would show up for that? I don't know. That'd be more interesting to me.
Like a
That'd be really,
Globetrotters type deal.
Not even I mean, legit guys that only dunk for social media. Not even professional or Harlem's kind of professional, but not even them. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, no, there was a show on that, right? I think it was like the Dunk King or something like that. Something like
Gary
that.
Payton was around that show. It was really cool.
The hair, right?
Like Jordan Kilgannon and guys like that. That'd be fun. I mean, because that guy does some crazy dunks. He'd probably wins.
I think the thing is also people don't want to get injured, which again, I don't know why you would join the dunk contest if you don't get hurt. But those guys could give a damn. Just being on national media, they would try every dunk possible. People say you can't recreate dunks anymore, which is kind of true. But yeah, if you did the dunks they were doing, because it's not like the dunks were awful. Obi's dunk where he did like behind his back, and those were incredible dunks. If you did that in the 1990s, he gets all 50s the entire day. There was not 150 given that entire Saturday night, which is just rough. So it's interesting. I don't know. But my thoughts there, and also three-point contest was fun to see. I wish to get more stars in it. I would love to see. I know Steph won it last year, so Steph's not going to do it again. I love to see Steph in there. There's some guys I could care less seeing. Luke Kennard, you're a good shooter. I could get less to see you. I'm sorry. All-Star game was amazing. Steph is phenomenal. I wish more players didn't get injured or fake injured. Like Harden could play, but he didn't want to play. I know KD's grandmother passed away, so he couldn't be on the arena. Draymond Green couldn't play. A lot of guys, Donovan Mitchell couldn't play. We missed like 5 All-Stars. Chris Paul played 30 seconds with a hurt hand. So it's rough. Super, super rough. Any more comments? Hopefully I didn't miss anything important. I don't believe I did. I know I missed a lot of comments. I really apologize for that. However, you can always comment down below, and I'll eventually, who knows, I'll reply to your comment. Anything else? Someone said Javonte Green's the best dunker. I don't want to see Javonte Green in dunk contest. I'm sorry. He can do it outside his house. That'd be cool. Home run derby winner gets $1 million. I think they need to have an incentive like that. I don't know what the incentive is. Someone look that up for me. What the incentive is to win a dunk contest? It's probably a couple thousand
trophy.
Yeah,
a trophy they probably
get anything. Yeah. Someone made the comment that they felt that the All-Star game was boring because they obviously don't try hard. They don't play defense. And to maybe put it at the end of the year so that way people can play and not worry about getting hurt. And then also make it incentivized, like, for example, for the MLB, for whoever wins that All-Star game, they get like home field advantage for playoffs or something like that, or something that like incentivizes them to really want to try hard and win. So like if they can maybe tweak that so like it's worth actually trying hard to win and to play, I feel like that's like something worth looking into. Because most of the game it was boring. It was no one was playing defense. Everyone was either pulling up for a three or trying to do a ridiculous dunk, which should have been during the dunk contest, which clearly it wasn't.
I'm cool with the players not playing defense till the fourth quarter. I don't know about anyone. I'm still entertained. I feel like people have such high expectations where we know what it is. There's some things you can't. The NFL Pro Bowl, you can't fix that. Guys don't want to get injured themselves at the end of the season when nothing matters. But NBA All-Star game, I don't know about putting it at the end of the season because I feel like people would watch less of it. I don't know. I feel like it's cool to have in the middle of the season, cool little break period between NBA content. Hoops, your thoughts on that? What they could do to fix the All-Star game itself? I think the cool ending is cool as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, like Bree was saying, incentivizing it to an extent, a lot of obviously they're raising a lot of money for charity, which is one thing.
Oh, yeah, true.
Right.
In terms of like actual money going into the players' pockets, more doesn't hurt. So, it's, they got to do something. But, I thought it was pretty fun. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's fun to kind of watch like talented offensive players do talented offensive things. And I do think it's kind of fun to watch it as the game goes on. Like you enter that fourth quarter and you see, the pickup in the defense and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of entertaining to see, like, when it really gets onto it and, the game has to end on a game winning shot. I love that they did that whole, target score thing. But other than that, yeah, just incentivizing it to a point. Whether that be like a lot more money for the winning team, whether that be some sort of, home court advantage, which would be tough to do because that would just kind of eliminate the point of seeding. But
being the number one seed, yeah.
But yeah.
Someone said I've seen most of everything the NBA has to offer in the All-Star game. That's pretty much true. Jags, I don't know if you had any takes on this.
No, not pretty much, sir. I mean, I think that everyone hit it on the head. I mean, it's incentivize it, do something different. I mean, Lord, because I'm not watching it again until I hear somebody say something exciting, not after what that was.
Yeah,
I feel that. Yo, we streamed for an hour. Oh, go ahead, Brie.
No, what you said about Tatum, I feel like he really didn't play a lot. And I think maybe that was because he wasn't a genuine starter. So maybe he didn't get enough playing time because of that. But I felt like he got taken out like super early. He didn't really contribute much, and he didn't get a lot of playing time. So I was also disappointed in that as well. I know that you touched upon that earlier in the show. So.
Yeah, I think that's because of his just mentality. Also, I believe they can have a say in when they go back in the game. Even Jokic didn't play the entire fourth quarter. I don't think he wanted to play. But also, really quick, someone was like, yo, it was better back in the 90s. I think people need to go back and watch those highlights. To act like they played defense for all 4 quarters of an All-Star game, just lies. Go watch the 1998 All-Star game with Jordan, Kobe, all those guys. They did not play defense either. I'm sorry. So this little statement of they were playing defense all 48 minutes just never happened. Excuse me. Just never happened at all. But, yo, we streamed for an hour and 40 minutes. I didn't have to stay this long. Jags didn't have to stay this long, but I do appreciate y'all coming through. We had a lot of comments I didn't respond to. I'll respond to y'all later. I know really cool stuff. Look at that. See, just says, @Hoops, @Bree. I'm a sub to y'all. Y'all can find Hoops on YouTube. Hoops, tell them where they can find you on the social media world and where else.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Hoops Empire on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's Hoops Empire _ on Twitter. If you like the Celtics, then, I'm posting a lot of Celtics content. So, yeah.
A lot of math as well. He loves statistics. He loves a little true shooting. That is his favorite stat in the world. I'm going to roast him on that one day. But, Bree, where can they find you at? Boston Bound.
It's okay.
Banner Bound. That is a tongue twister for me. I can never say
I
that.
I know. One day you'll get it. It's fine.
Where can they find you?
Sometimes. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter. It's this Bree Marie D. I post a lot of Celtics and NBA content, and when the Red Sox are in season, I talk about them as well. So
you can see Bree on Twitter talking all the time about this negotiating stuff that's going on. I don't know MLB at all. All I know is Bree is very upset whatever the hell's happening in the MLB world.
Very upset about it.
Jags, what about you? Jags, they can obviously find you on Twitter, right? Jags,
you can find me right here on Celtics Corner.
Oh, okay. Look at the plug. You can subscribe to Celtics Corner in the channel. Now, again, I think I'm going to do a watch party stream sometime this week. We have a couple guests coming on Sunday. I don't know, maybe if someone here, I'm not going to name any names, maybe she wants to join us for a watch party stream. I think the first game back is Thursday, I think. Damn, that's kind of early. I don't know. Is Brooklyn? Yeah. Damn, I want to see that. If Ben Simmons plays, we might have to do a watch party stream.
Unfortunately, I'm working, but anytime I'm not working, I'm always down to join a watch party.
Definitely. Hit me up. If Ben Simmons plays, I'll probably do a watch party. If he doesn't play, I ain't watching that shit. We're probably going to beat their asses. Anyway, but there is it. I know people keep commenting. Last question. You're mad now. Celtics, do you think that target score in All-Star game should be used in overtime? I think you meant or regulation. First to score 21 in overtime. That's kind of cool. That, to be fair, I think most teams don't score 21 in 5 minutes anyway, more often than not. So I think you probably play more. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. What about y'all? Y'all fan of that?
It's kind of cool. I mean, it's different for sure. I mean, it's to know that you're going to have a game-winning shot every game.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Is pretty cool. So, I mean, that's something. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind it, to be honest. I'll try it for a season. Just how that goes.
Try it. Yep.
I'll mess with that. And also, again, really quick, I think that someone has said it before. Should they shorten the NBA season a little bit? Maybe the first round playoffs to 5 games instead of 7, and then just make it more competitive at the end. We're seeing these teams sweep teams 4-0, end the game in 5, and that we can just leave it there. But I saw someone talk about that as well. That is it. I know people keep commenting. Shout out to y'all. We're out of here. Y'all can find everyone's social medias down below in the link in the description. Appreciate y'all the awards show, the games we played, trivia. Appreciate everyone coming through and stopping by. Appreciate everyone hitting the like button as well. We are out of here. Peace out. God bless. And I will see y'all, I don't know, sometime later. Maybe watch party. Who knows? I'm going.